Hi students, today I'm going to be showing you the basic skills you're going to need to work on your experimental videos using Adobe Premiere Pro. Adobe Premiere Pro is a very vast program, but there's no need to be intimidated. It's very simple to use once you get the hang of a few simple steps. So the first thing I want you guys to do is make a folder in your flash drive. I'm using my desktop, but you guys are going to have a flash drive that you use for this project. So make a folder for all your video clips. I have mine here in experimental video lesson. I also want you to go through and rename all of your experimental video footage with names of what is going on so that it's easy for you to organize and easy for you to recognize when you load it into Premiere what clips you want to work with. So it could be one or two words, but just go through and rename all your clips, etc., to get something that you can recognize. Once that's done, very simple, we're going to go to Premiere. So you're going to click on the PR. There's a few different elements to Premiere, which we will go through. But first, we want to make a new project file, new project. And we're going to title it Experimental Video. You can also title it what you're going to be titling your videos. So I'm going to title mine Creation in Me. And you want to make sure that you're saving it. The location that you want to save it in is in your folder because all of our files are going to be contained there. And Premiere Pro does something really cool called autosave. And that's going to help you if you make any mistakes or computer shuts down. It's going to be all auto-saved into your flash drive. So then click OK, and you'll see we have a new little project panel that pops up at the bottom here. We're also going to create a new sequence. A new sequence, the sequence is where all your editing of clips comes all together. So we're going to click New Sequence. The widescreen 32 is going to be what you want to use. And then everything else is fine. You don't have to change anything except the name. So we're going to name it, again, Creation in Me, Experimental Video, if you don't know your title yet, or your working title. And you're going to click OK. And then I'm just gonna, it shouldn't look like this, but let me just make it so we can see everything. This is your tools panel, so you want to keep that there. And this is your sequence. So right now we don't have anything going on. I'm gonna give you a little tour of what we have here. We have our project panel, which is where all of our files, once we import them, are going to live. This is our source monitor up here. We don't have a clip, so we don't have anything in the source monitor, but this is where you play your raw clips, your raw footage that you recorded, and decide what you want to cut to put into your sequence. Your sequence is where everything comes together, and you can play it here in the program monitor. So if you think about it, this is like your raw ingredients here. This is where you prep your raw ingredients. So if you guys ever baked a cake before and you need to like cream together the butter and the sugar, that's kind of this step here. This is making sure we measure the ingredients correctly. Then we put them all in the oven of the sequence where they all come together and mishmash together, and then we can watch them here in the program monitor. So that's kind of how it works. Let's see where we can get our clips imported into Premiere. So to do that, you're going to click Command-I on the keyboard. And I already had my experimental video folder open from our last thing. And you can see our Premiere project file is there too, just like we want it. And I am going to select all these clips. You can also hold down Shift and click to, and we don't need to select this one, but import all these. Then you're going to click Import, and they're going to import the files. And you're going to see them pop up right here in the program monitor, or in the project panel, excuse me, not program monitor. This is the program monitor project panel. Now, how are we going to edit them? Easy, you're going to double click on one, as you can see, this is some footage of bubbles. And it has background noise to it, which we'll get rid of. This isn't the best clip, so I think I want to use this one. This one is a lot better, as you can see the bubbles. So this clip is about 27 seconds long, and I want to split it up into much shorter installments so that I can edit them all together and have that repetition that we were talking about and use different symbols to represent different things. So I'm going to put my playhead. This is called the playhead. This is going to be where we start the clip. I'm going to start it about right here where the bubbles just start coming onto the screen. And I'm going to play it forward till about, let's say, right here. Excuse me, I didn't even say what I did there. So what I did was I clicked this, and this is to mark in. That's where I want my clip to start. So I clicked this button to mark in. Now I'm going to see where I want my clip to end. And I'm going to click right here, mark out. So now when I add this into my sequence, it's only going to add this couple second clip of my longer clip to the sequence. And by how do I do that? I'm going to hit the comma or click this insert button. Sorry, my thing wasn't selected. It should look like this. And you have your video channels and your audio channels. And there we go. I just inserted it into my sequence. And I can see it playing here in my program monitor. You guys can see. So far, that's what I have. Now, before we go any further, we can see that these videos have sound because I recorded them on my phone. So there's going to be an underlying automatic soundtrack that gets added. So I don't want that as part of my video. So I'm going to hit this M to mute the audio track. So now going forward, any clip that I add, it's not going to add the sound to it. Let's add another couple clips to this sequence. I'm not doing it in any particular order, but when you guys do this, I want to make sure that you are thinking about the order you're putting them in, thinking about what that order is going to convey, what meaning it's going to convey to the viewer, and how you want your story within your experimental video to be told. So let's do some of these like little cactus flowers. Again, I'm going to put my playhead to where I want the clip to start, click mark in, go a little bit further down, let's say to about right here, mark out, and then insert my clip. Play it again in my program and source monitor, my program monitor, and you can see how now it's added that second clip. To start to play from the beginning, you can go to in, and that's going to go to the very beginning, and you can start playing it again. We have 11 seconds of footage right now, how it is. And remember, we want our videos to be between a minute and a minute 30 seconds long. I'm just going to zoom this in so you guys can see it a little bigger, so it's easier. Let's go and do one more so you guys can kind of see. Do you guys hear that? So I don't want it to have sound, so that's why we muted the channel. But let's say I'm gonna do my playhead about right here where I first start cutting, mark in. Let's go to about right there, mark out, insert, and it adds it right here to my sequence. Now, I want you guys to think about the lengths of time that you're showing certain things. Obviously, if something is shown for longer, it's going to have more emphasis. So that's something to think about. Write down what order you want things to go in. You can always reorder your clips. You can select it and then see how it comes up with this little symbol here, and it kind of overwrites that. And it's going to overwrite it and get rid of the other one. You want your clips bumped up right next to each other, because if they're not, it's going to leave a black space. Let me just show you. So say my clips are spread apart. When we play it, and you can see here in the program monitor, it's going to go to black. for a little bit. So make sure your clips are bumped up right next to each other. Let's just add in that cactus one back. You can also click right here like this, go to out, and add that in like this. So now we've reordered it. You guys can feel free to reorder it, think about what you want. Once you get it in your sequence, your whole video together, let's talk about adding some video transitions. There's a lot of transitions here that you can add. 3D motion, dissolve, immersive video. Some of these are more gimmicky than others, so you want to be really careful as to what kind of message your transition is also sending. Like if I chose a page peel, that's going to send a message that I'm talking about maybe turning the page in a book. I'm changing time. I'm going further in the story. So think about the symbolism that these transitions could have too. I personally like the cross dissolve the best. So you're going to take your cursor, highlight one, and then you're going to click and hold and bring it down into your sequence and put it in between the two clips. Do you see how it just added that little brown thing right here? Let's do it again. Click, hold, drop in between the two clips, just like that. And now when we play it back in our program monitor, it's going to cross dissolve and make it a smoother transition. So that is something for you guys to think about aesthetically too. What does the transitions mean? Does it mean for this kind of transition where it's dissolving, it sort of means one is bleeding into another. They're related, they're interconnected. If it's a hard cut, it means we're jumping to the next thing. So that's something to think about, and you can experiment as we work in class together with all these different transitions. I want you to try new things. Try a couple things out here. Obviously, we'll be working together, so if you have any questions, we can work on it in class, but that is the basics of Premiere and how you will edit it. This video will be available on our class website, so if you need to reference it while you're working on homework, you can reference it there. The last thing I'm going to show you how to do for Premiere Pro is how to export your project when we're all done. So we're going to come up to here to File, click File, Export, Media. This is only 23 seconds long, so we want to make sure it's a minute next time. Why did that not do anything? Export, Media. I'm a little confused why that's not working. Oh, there we go, popped up, just took a second. Okay, so we wanna make sure that our playhead is at the beginning so that it exports the whole file, because if it's right here, it's gonna start exporting where that playhead is. So make sure your playhead is at the beginning. You wanna make sure format H.264 is the format that you're exporting. You are also going to choose Vimeo 720p HD for your output preset. The output name is already going to be Creation and Me because we named our sequence that. All the rest of the things you can just keep normal. You could even click off export audio because we don't want any audio on our video. We want these to be silent videos. And then you're just going to click export. And it's going to export to your desktop, when you can then add it into your flash drive, where we will be turning it in later as we turn in our projects. And I will show you once it's done. It's very fast when your video is so short. As you can see, it's going really quickly exporting. And I'm just going to minimize this. And here is our video. So if we click on that, it's going to play. And we have our 23-second little clips that we put together. It comes together really fast. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And also you can reference this little screencast as we work on our videos. If you have any other questions, feel free to email me and we'll work together in the computer lab as we work on our projects. Premiere is very vast, so I encourage you guys to kind of explore. Feel free to do your own research online. There's many, many, many YouTube videos out there if you have something in your head that you want to do that will show you how you can do it. And just have fun. Just try to experiment. Think about the message that you're sending. Think about the symbols that you're using and just have fun with it. Anything that's done in Premiere, it's easy to just go back and delete, start over, start fresh. So don't get too worried about making mistakes or messing things up. It's easy to start again. So I hope you have fun learning this and working with Premiere Pro.